Hi guys, today I'm here with another Oily Skin Diaries review. This one is going to be a first impressions because I got my hands on something brand new and yet to be officially released from MAC. It is their Next to Nothing face color. I also have their Next to Nothing pressed powder and one of the new blushes from the Extra Dimension blush line. So let's go ahead and get started. So this line launches in North America both in-store and online on April 6th and then internationally April 20th. It's following that whole trend that's happening right now with like the filter ready face but in person and the no makeup thing, which I have been really into. I've been loving a lighter application of makeup. I do have really oily skin though, so I'm interested to see how this is going to hold up on me, as it talks a lot about radiance and luminous and that kind of thing, so that always scares me, but I am really excited to give it a try. There are 9 different face colors in the line and 9 different pressed powders. They've also launched 2 brushes with this collection as well. Actually, I don't know if they're brand new, but there are 2 brushes here in this collection as well. I'm an NC42 in the Studio Fix Fluid, and I'm an NC43 in the Studio Fix Pressed Powder, but the naming conventions for this are a little bit different. It's like light, medium deep, medium dark, medium plus, that kind of thing. So there's 9 of those, and then the same thing translates for the pressed powders. The Next to Nothing face color retails for $31 American, $38 Canadian. It comes in a beautiful glass frosted bottle. You've got a pump along the top here, but the pump actually locks, which makes it quite friendly for travel. You are getting a little bit more product in here than the average size of a foundation, which is 1 fluid ounce. In here, you're actually getting 1.2 fluid ounces, which is nice because as a more sheer coverage product, you may want to try and build it up. And that's what I'm going to do today to see what kind of coverage I can get out of it. It's recommended that you apply with a sponge or a synthetic brush, so I'm going to be using a more dense brush today because I do want to put a mattifying primer on half of my face to see how that reacts, and I do want to try and get as much coverage out of it as possible. They also recommend applying it to a dry face, so making sure that your moisturizer has dried, or if you're a fan of using a setting spray before applying a foundation or a primer, just make sure that has dried before you apply it to your face. The Next to Nothing face powder is going to retail for $27 American, $38 Canadian. You get 10 grams of product in here, and this one is just like any other pressed powder. I actually used one of the lighter ones to set my under eyes yesterday, and I really like that, so I'll do that again today and use one of the deeper ones to set my face. It's a beautiful, soft texture. It actually has a little bit more pigmentation than what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a very sheer coverage, but it's got a great creamy texture and just really smooth. I'm going to go ahead and get into application now. I'm going to put a mattifying primer on this half of my face. I'm just curious to see how it will react with something like that, as I do have quite oily skin. I'm going to be wearing the shade Dark all over my face, then I'm going to set it with the pressed powder in Dark, and I'm going to set my under eye concealer with the Medium Plus pressed powder. Next to Nothing offers the newest innovations in brilliant, barely there makeup. Next to Nothing face colors, nourishing ingredients, and opalescent microspheres bring out the skin's luminosity whether worn under makeup or alone. Smooth it on with a sponge or a brush to moisturize and protect the skin while diminishing imperfections. It provides an instant radiance, is a comfortable, creamy formula, nourishes the skin, improves the look of fine lines and wrinkles, visibly refines the skin's texture, smooths and softens skin, good for all skin types, and oil-free. The Next to Nothing pressed powder offers a creamy, transformative, lightweight formula for long-lasting, high-comfort wear. The silky soft texture boasts micro light boosters that guarantee the look of radiant skin, no filters needed. The MAC Extra Dimension blush is a modern hybrid blush combining the smoothness of a cream, blendability of a liquid, and finish of a powder with long-wearing color and prismatic reflections. So now I am wearing the face color, the face powder, both under my eyes and all over my face, along with the Extra Dimension blush, and I'm kind of surprised. I was expecting this to be super liquidy, really low coverage, super dewy, maybe even like some shimmer in there, but that is not the case. It has like a nice runny texture, but it still has a little bit of thickness to it. It blends out on the skin beautifully. I used about 3 small pumps total on my face, and as for the prime side versus the unprimed side, they both applied about the same. I think that this one may wear a little bit better, potentially because of the mattifying properties, but that being said, the foundation is by no means as dewy or as radiant as I was expecting, but it has just enough in there for it to look like skin. I don't feel like it has blurred any of my pores or imperfections or anything like that, but I also don't think that that it has made it any worse. And I just really love it. There's no scent to it. I think that if you use this with a beauty blender, you could get a beautiful light application. I used a more dense brush, so I did get a little bit more coverage, and I think that it's very, very buildable. I would say that I have about a light medium amount of coverage right now, and I really am quite happy with the color match as well. The powder does add a little bit more coverage in there too, and then the blush is gorgeous, super glowy, and really a nice fresh flush on the cheeks. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup, and then we will do a photo test. So I have the rest of my makeup on now, and I'm super impressed. I love the coverage that this has given. It's like just below a medium. It really evened out my skin tone, but it feels so lightweight. Looks really, really natural, and I think that you could use it so lightly on a no makeup day, or build it up for every day or even nighttime wear. I think that it looks so good. The powder blends so nicely. All of my products have blended really nicely on top of it. I'm not wearing any highlighter. I wanted to leave that blush to do its own thing, and I just think it looks like such a natural finish on the skin. Something that I did want to mention about the powders is that they do look really light in the pan. The deepest shade that I have there still gave tons of color on my skin, so that's just something to keep in mind when checking them out at the store. As for photos, I think that it looks really good in flash photography. I'm quite close to my flash, so I look slightly washed out, but it really does look good. There's no flashback, there's no listed SPF in here. And then as for natural lighting, or like my studio lighting here, I think that it looks amazing. So this seems like something that would be a very versatile foundation, something that you could wear day and night. But I'm gonna go ahead and go about my day, and I will check back with you at the end of it to show you how this has all held up. It is currently 8:30, and I will check back with you shortly. I am back. It is now the end of my makeup day. It is currently 6:16, and I gotta say I am pretty impressed with how this has all held up. This whole foundation experience has been overall very surprising. I was expecting it to be like dewy and sheer from the get-go, and to slide off my face, and that I was gonna be an oily mess, but I really don't think any of those things have held true. I am definitely a little bit shiny. My lights make me look more shiny than I am, but this side of my face had the primer, and I feel like it is slightly less oily, but really not by much. I don't feel like it has oxidized, patched off my skin, or moved around, so I'm really, really impressed. I do still want to just blot a little bit because I definitely do have some oil buildup. I just want to see how it would react to blotting. Generally in the run of any regular day I blot, but when I'm doing foundation reviews I like to just see how it does on its own. Something that I noticed about this kind of foundation, and more so powder I guess, was that the powder is so much darker than what it looks like. I know I mentioned that earlier, but I think I could have gone a shade down in the powder because I ended up looking a little bit, it didn't look too dark, but it definitely was like a little bit darker than what I felt was necessary. As for the claims on the foundation, first of all, let me just say that I love it and I will totally wear it again, but when it comes to matching up with the claims, I feel like it's a little bit off. I do think it has a lot more coverage than you would expect when reading the description. I don't think it's as dewy and luminous as it claims to be, and I don't think that the powder is as light as it claims to be either. For me, that's totally okay because I have oily skin and I like a little bit of coverage. You definitely get less coverage with a beauty blender, and it kind of just depends what you're looking to get for out of this foundation, which I think makes it quite versatile. It also is a beautiful, beautiful texture, so I think if you do have dry skin, you could easily mix an oil in there and it would kind of combine very nicely. I don't feel like it blurred any pores on my skin or any of the texture. It also didn't highlight it, but it also just did a really good job evening things out. I think it has a really natural skin-like finish. I love that you get 1.2 fluid ounces in there. The only kind of a qualm that I have with this foundation is the shade range. And before, when I was going off of what they were claiming it to be, I was like, well, it's going to be really sheer. It's something you can wear under foundation. It's not going to have that much coverage, so you really don't need a huge shade range to match more people. But now that I'm looking at it and seeing the amount of coverage that I can get out of it, and I'm really happy with my shade match, I do think that there should be some more shades in the range, especially considering how good MAC is at doing that. They may expand the range after they see how the launch goes, but it definitely has tons of pigment in here. I was expecting it to be a very, very sheer coverage, and when that is the case, you don't really need as many shades. But overall, if you're wondering if I would purchase this again, if I like it, if I'm going to wear it again, the answer is absolutely yes. If you have oily skin, I think that this is great. Combination normal as well. If you have dry skin, you may want to get the help of a primer that is hydrating, maybe a bit of an oil in there, because it's just not as luminous as it claims to be. I think that this is a great product. I definitely am looking forward to wearing this some more, especially in the summertime, because it does have such a nice light feeling. Let me know down below if you will be picking this up, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!